Welcome to the epic, the sardonic, the titillating Best Fit Square!
Hey folks, welcome back to Best Fit Square Show. I'm your host, Manuel Ortega. Today, we ponder how did we ever arrive at our current state of global poverty? Here to help us better understand is our very own in-house scholar, PT. Hey PT.
Hey Mo.
PT, modern economic growth has spread throughout Earth. You might say like ripples of waves on a lake's surface. But where did our economic model get its start? And why did it go to particular places and flourish, while in others, not so much? Poetic, Mo. Ripples of waves on a lake's surface. One of your best, I must say. Oh, it started in England. Our economic model. Yeah, that's where it started. England? How's that? It's a tiny island off the west coast of Europe. Nothing but an oversized rock battered by the Atlantic. Indeed, Mo, but geography matters. Geography? Hate it. Earth, atmosphere, human activity. Who cares? Who cares? You should. Geography plays a significant role in determining whether a country gets on a path of rapid economic growth and development or whether it remains mired in poverty. Are you suggesting geography be mandatory in education across Earth? Seems you're missing the larger point here, Mo. First, let's be clear. Poverty, like its opposite, wealth, is a Homo sapiens creation. Created by those with money and power. They created a framework to advantage themselves and trap those without money and power into a poverty trap. Poverty trap? Nonsense. Poverty is just another excuse for lazy and stupid. Look, Mo, the idea of a poverty trap is straightforward. An economy, especially in our 21st century, needs certain basics in order to be able to achieve economic development. Infrastructure-wise, an economy needs roads, ports of trade, electricity, safe water, sanitation, while people need access to basic health care so that the population is not burdened massively by disease. Plus, education, especially for women and children. But the poorest of the poor countries often do not have these basics. The amount of finance that's required just for those basics could be out of reach of the government. Pretty basic list, PT. Most of the world have this. Seems to me, basic flaws. For instance, like incompetence, corruption, ignorance, could play a role in the sorry, miserable state these poor countries find themselves. Now there's a tired trope, blaming the victim. Blaming the victim is as old as the economic model itself. But I digress. Blame the victim? Did you just insult me? Remember, Mo, we cannot be where we are without having been where we were. And where we were laid the foundation for all we experience today. Hey, PT, there you go again with all this mystical Yoda, yada, yada, yada. Look around, dude. We live in a world of plenty. For us, yes. But for more than 1 billion people, not so much. That's at least 1 out of every 7 persons on Earth. Let that sink in, Mo. 1 out of every 7 persons on Earth lives in extreme poverty. Dang, now that you put it that way, PT, I suppose there can't be that many stupid, lazy people on Earth, you think? So what gives? What gives? What gives is the devastating legacy of colonialism for native peoples, irrefutably among the most heinous acts inflicted by Caucasian Europeans upon human beings of color. Aren't you being a bit dramatic, PT? These people should just get off their fat behinds and find a job, for Christ's sake. Or better yet, create a business, be their own boss. And then they'll be able to earn money, pay bills, buy sneakers. You know what I mean. There you go again, Mo. Poverty is not solely an outcome from not getting off one's butt. To be able to earn one's living requires basic infrastructure for economic development to be in place and accessible. People living in extreme poverty are people whose government cannot provide the fundamental infrastructure for economic development. People living in extreme poverty are captive victims of their nation's poverty trap. So where are these poverty traps? New Zealand? South Korea? Western Europe? Come on, Mo. You gotta be kidding me, dude. The world's rocking it. No, not quite. But tropical Africa, South Asia, India, Pakistan, Nepal, Bangladesh, just to name the poor of the poorest. So, BT, if I understand you correctly, the poverty trap they and other nations like them find themselves in has a direct link to colonialism, the after effects of which they and their people are captive victims to, conditions they had no role in creating or have the power or capacity to extricate themselves from. That's correct, Mo. The poverty trap both nation and its people find themselves in, simply from the arbitrary nature of birth and geography. Just saying!